First in the tank is convenient food that doesn't compromise on health or taste.
Hello, Sharks. My name is Jane Carroll. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I am here today seeking $300,000 for 15% of my company, Jane Foodie. Sharks, who doesn't want to eat real food with real ingredients made from scratch? We all want to, but who has the time to make it? I found myself wandering in the grocery store, looking at the labels and thinking, oh my God, what's in our food? Even the freezer section was loaded with preservatives. So I made it my mission to take food back to the basics, using real ingredients for real flavors and also nature's preservative, the freezer. At Jane Foodie, we cook food to perfection and then we flash freeze it. Flash freezing takes food directly from the oven down to -40 in 90 minutes. This process allows the food to retain all of its flavors, textures, and nutrients. I have dishes like hot honey chicken, our broccoli, sun-dried tomato pesto, roasted purple potatoes. And this is just the beginning. So Sharks, which one of you is gonna help me turn my flash frozen food into cold, hard cash?
That's good.
Hey, we need that cold, hard cash. Welcome back to another reaction video, breakdown video of Shark Tank. I am your host, Dave, 10-year intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from patents, trademarks, copyrights, as well as trade secrets. And hey man, what world are we living in where we've kind of started? I guess they say everything comes full circle. We started with kind of real food and natural foods, and next thing you know, we go to all these preservatives, and now we're trying to kind of bring it back to where we started with the natural foods and things like that. And obviously it has a good health benefits. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. Some housekeeping items. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit the subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. I actually just came out with an ebook that's, to the extent that you have IP, Got IP is the name of the ebook. You definitely want to kind of check that out. The link is in the description. I'm not going to go too much in detail about it, but however, I am kind of give you my take as a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing in kind of my experiences, and I'm kind of reaffirming a point based on these interviews that I've done on this channel. We also do interviews. I've done 100+ interviews, many of whom have been Shark Tank guests. So I kind of hammer the story home, or hammer the point home with these Shark Tank stories in the book. So go check out that. Like I said, the link is in the description. For those of you who don't know, I look at 3 things plus a bonus one when I'm kind of looking at these pitches. How simple is it? Seems like, flash food, at least to the customer, it seems like it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. How effective is it? 300,000 for 15%. What is that? 3 million, 4.5 million, something along those lines. So we'll see if she has some sales. A lot of times the effectiveness, you can tell about the number of sales as well as the reviews on the product. Definitely with the reviews or something like this. And then what's the market like? Now I would imagine that, it's a ton of things in the market to try to kind of be healthier. I'm not sure how much. I would imagine it's a fair amount of stuff that's kind of flash freezing food. So what's the difference compared to the stuff that's out there? I'm pretty sure the Sharks is going to want to try to get that information and see if she kind of truly has something that's unique or can't be duplicated or replicated, or at least tough to be duplicated or replicated. And then the last but not least is the IP. You have to be protecting your intellectual property. I looked it up while she was doing her pitch. She does have a trademark pending on Jane Foodie. And then a lot of times with these food items, you'll see people that have trade secrets on how they're preparing the food, how they're making the food to kind of still give you that fresh taste, that the freshness of it, the taste that's kind of still there. So a lot of times you will have companies or whatnot have trade secrets on whether it's the food itself or how you make the food. So it'll be interesting on whether or not that comes up in a pitch. But we shall see. So those are my initial takes. Like I said, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm as well as the subscribe button. Let's get back off into this thing and see if she gets the deal. Let's go.
Yay, baby, you're great. So here we go. I have samples for all of you. We have beef stew, ginger rice, roasted cauliflower, a little lemon cake.
The cauliflower, really, really good. Beef stew, very good.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
I tried them all, they're very good, but flash freezing food is 40-year-old technology.
Well, you can say it's 100-year-old technology, right? I actually think frozen vegetables 100 years ago were flash frozen.
But when you go to the store and you see all the different frozen foods,
Right.
Are those flash frozen?
They're not flash frozen. Not all frozen food is flash frozen.
So what do they do instead, and does it not retain as much of the vitamins and minerals?
It does not, because when you take the temperature down so quickly, it doesn't let the ice crystals form. Flash freezing, actually, I don't know why everybody's not doing it.
Are you a chef?
Nope,
Tell us about yourself.
not a chef.
Yes, tell us about you.
Years ago, I created something called Boxed in Blooms. It was fresh flowers that can be shipped anywhere in the country because the internet had just started. I ended up on Oprah's O List.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, everything was going great. And in 08, July, I had a heart attack at the age of 41.
Oh, no.
And September, the market crashed. I ended up in the hospital. I had a 99.9% blockage.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah. Anyway, the cardiologist said, listen, you need to start eating better. So I took up boxing and I opened up a little cafe. And then I got a phone call from a movie studio, and they said, listen, your food is so healthy. Would you be willing to come down and feed the cast and crew? So I start making the food for them, but the pace is so quick.
Right.
I find out about flash freezing. I lease a freezer. The crew never knew the food was frozen.
Well, let's get to where we are today. Let's get to
Where are
2024.
your numbers right today? How
Yeah.
much have you sold to date?
A little over 1.1 million.
In
How
one
much-
year?
Good
And
job.
no, 2023, I did 640. Year to date right now, I did 580,000.
Wow.
Are you in the stores, in the frozen
yeah, so
food
we're
section?
in local stores.
You're not in any major grocers.
No, and I have bought equipment. So
So
did-
I
you're
why
not
are you
using
doing
you're
all
not
this
using a
yourself?
co-packer, you're doing this yourself?
doing it all
Yeah,
myself.
why are you
Why?
doing that?
Why? Have you been able to find a co-packer that can flash freeze for you?
No.
How are you going to scale an order if Costco gave you one or Walmart gave you one or
Well, you're also talking to a girl whose brother gave her a chop saw for her 50th birthday. So, like, I research, I figure it out.
I get the retail,
Yep.
but are you selling it
Direct-
online?
Yes.
What
Off your
percentage of your
website.
sales? What
My-
percentage of them?
My sales on the internet is only about 10% of my sales.
So most of your sales are through the local retail stores.
Local retail stores, and I do catering, and my two cafes that I have.
Okay, let's break down the numbers.
Yes.
What does it cost you to make them?
Yep.
And what do you sell them for at wholesale, and what do they sell them for at retail?
So, for example, our soups. The soup's average cost is $2.13.
There you go.
Got it.
Okay, MSRP is $6.50. I sell it to the distributor somewhere around $3. Okay, my side dishes, the roasted Parmesan cauliflower goes for $2.75. The MSRP is $8.50.
The question I have, though, your margins are okay for food, right? But your total sales are not that big,
low.
right? Your cafes, right? That's a separate business. Is
No.
that, no?
All together.
Okay, all part of this.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're asking us to invest in the cafes also.
In everything.
whole thing.
What I would love to do is get distribution, and I would love to have the food in the stores. I mean, I'd like to go retail. The cafes are great, but I don't want to be in the cafe business.
Do you
really.
only sell your food in the cafes?
That's it. I sell.
Oh, you only sell in your own cafes?
my own food.
Is it sit down?
Sit down.
How much money are you making in the two cafes?
In 2023, I netted $24,000.
When I come to your cafe,
Yep.
am I getting flash frozen food or am I getting freshly made food?
You're getting flash frozen food, heated.
Do I know that?
Absolutely. I mean, we have merchandised freezers right in the cafe.
I wonder if the fact that you have the cafes is the reason people are pulling through all the sales.
Well, we do 45% there, but we do 45% in the stores. We're in like 5 local stores.
Jane, how many square feet are your cafes?
My cafes are like 450 square feet.
So
Wait a second. I'm fascinated by the 400 square foot, almost pop-up shops. I wonder,
that's the business.
Yeah, why isn't that
Jane,
the
you don't know what business you're in. That's your problem. In a restaurant, you're always trying to figure out how to make the food, how to deal with quantities, right? How to deal with waste.
Right.
You don't have to deal with waste.
No.
You can manufacture in one central place and just drop off and put them in the freezer. They heat them.
Right.
That's an entirely unique concept.
That is a great business. Why don't you want to do more of the cafes?
Yes.
Well,
Open up as many
brick and
cafes.
mortar to me is like it's a little scary. You know, you have to have
You have to run them.
right.
That's a
There's
lot
no
of
question
work on your
it's
back
hard,
end.
yeah.
A manufacturing facility, I'm good at the nuts and bolts, how the line should work, how to package the food. That's what I'm good at.
You can't possibly scale without a co-packer.
Well, she's becoming a co-packer herself.
Exactly.
Do you want to set up pop-up locations and have the food there and serve it because you don't have to prepare it?
Right.
Or do you want to pursue the two-tier distribution strategy into retail, into the frozen goods section? Which is it you want to do?
I really do see this food in the grocers. I think
Bad
people
answer.
need.
Bad answer.
Little TiVo action.
Jane's strategy of going into retail for her flash frozen food company, Jane Foodie.
I really do see this food in the grocers.
Bad
People
answer.
need.
Bad answer.
I think people need real convenient.
Bad answer for you.
No, because then she's got to find the place for it in the frozen section. Then you got to deal with shipping it and everything. And then you got to market it because people aren't just going to understand when they first come in. That's expensive.
Jane, let me take a stab at it. You got the product nailed down. I tried it all. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, you do not have distribution nailed down. You're not worth $2 million yet. But
Okay.
that's not a fight worth having because I'm not going to invest. I'm out.
Okay.
Jane, look, I think.
And as Mr. Wonderful goes out, man, I'll tell you what, typically, Shark Tank, they do a pretty good job at editing these things, so it seems like kind of more or less seamless. But you can tell that they edit the heck out of that just because things were everywhere. It seems like we were talking about the cafes, we were talking about flash frozen, we were talking about the numbers for the soup, numbers for kind of other items. It seems like a lot was going on in that first 5 or 6 minutes to the point where you can kind of really see, okay, the team over there, the editing team over there at Shark Tank kind of jumping around. Let me know if you guys have picked up on it. I definitely picked up on it. I think Mark and Robert kind of gave some good advice as it relates to the cafe business. Again, me personally, I'm not sure why anybody does restaurants or in a food business just because it's so tough, it's so expensive, and it's so much competition. But it seems like, and again, Mr. Wonderful had put talked about it at the beginning as far as it seems like the food is good. That's a good thing. That's a good start. Let's start somewhere positive. The food is great based on, and it seems like they kind of keep it real when you're talking about bad or good food. It seems like the food is great, which is a pretty good thing. It seems like I guess whether or not the cafe or are you kind of selling it in the restaurants, it seems like is maybe up in the air according to the Sharks. It seems like Robert and Mark think that she should go the cafe spot, but she doesn't want to go to the cafe spot just because it's just much more difficult, and then you got to be boots on the ground with that. So she doesn't like that. Again, to run a cafe and only make $24,000 in profit, like I said, I'm not sure why anybody is in a food business outside of if you're just kind of a legacy company and you can kind of have a volume to the point where things are making money. Obviously, we all know that groceries and things like that have razor thin margins. But again, she wants to apparently kind of sell these things in a frozen food aisle at the grocery store. And as Kevin talked about, Mr. Wonderful talked about, it's like, okay, what's new about flash frozen? Now, it seems like she's kind of dialed in on her product to the point it's still good, even though it's flash frozen. But that technology has been around, it seems like, for decades, according to everybody. So again, when you're investing in something, a lot of times people want to see the barrier to entry being difficult. And a lot of times that difficulty is whether or not you have IP on it, whether it's trademarks or patents, copyrights, or even, again, trade secrets. Because a lot of times the way you're preparing an item, in this case with the flash frozen food, that's a trade secret, even though you're not kind of filing it with a governmental body, you're kind of keeping that secret to yourself. And it seems like all this stuff as relates to flash frozen is kind of maybe out there more or less. I'm not sure, man. Like I said, there was a lot going on with this one. Seems like Kevin is out, which is interesting. Let's see if she gets a deal and if she kind of gets honed in on what it is that she kind of wants to do long term. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section as we get back to it and see if she's able to land a deal. Let's go.
I think your real business is the cafe business, but I don't think that's where your heart is.
Yep.
And for that reason, I'm out.
Okay. Thank you.
How could anyone doubt you? Somehow you'll always find a way. You're one of those.
Yeah, crazy story. I agree with
you're
that.
motivated by money, are you?
No.
You're motivated by
passion.
success.
Yeah.
What kind of a team do you have?
I have a great team.
And they love you to death?
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure. I'll make you an offer of $300,000 for 33%.
Okay, Barbara, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
You got an
Jane,
offer.
I think it's a better offer than I was going to make you. Good luck.
I understand.
I'll make you an offer.
Wow.
I think that you want the exact right things. I think you just need to go into grocery.
Right.
Because doing the cafes and that, like, you can't do it all.
Right.
So I have many items in the freezer section.
Yes.
Okay.
Pizza Cupcake, Bantam Bagel, Frozen Farmer. They've done collectively over 150 million in sales. So I'm going to actually give you an offer for $300K. But I'm going to go for 28%.
Oh my God.
28%. Because
Undercutting
Because I like it.
We couldn't have women power here?
I don't even like Lori.
Dang, that's messed up.
Barb always says that kind of stuff.
Just how you feel about your team is how I feel about my team. They have camaraderie, they have fun. They're collectively a large team, my entrepreneurs. You won't get that family from Lori. No
That's
offense,
so not
Lori.
true. You know, if you watch my social media, that my entrepreneurs are an enormous family. They all talk, we get together, but also the team that I have internally, they are family.
Right.
But I want to take you to the moon, and I want to do it right away.
Jane, make a decision.
Okay. Barbara,
Yeah?
would you accept 25%?
Yep. That's what I'll say, 25.
No, but I'll go with 27.
Whoa.
I'll do 25.
Whoa.
You got a deal.
No!
Oh, yeah!
How did you do this to me?
Barbara, you had your shot.
I had my shot and I blew it.
You have no idea. I love you anyway.
You don't love me enough.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Damn you, Lori.
Sorry, Barb.
A long road. My mother just passed away, and you know, I've been that scrappy ball player, and they're right. I could do anything. I could make everything work, but I'm tired of being in the trenches. So I am thrilled to have a partner like Lori, just absolutely thrilled, and we are gonna blow it up.
Hey, man, shouts out to her for getting a deal. And this is actually an interesting point before we pull up the website and see what they have on there. And I'll talk about this in the ebook, not to kind of plug the ebook even more. But at the end of the day, man, you can know all this stuff. You can have the IP, you can have funding, you can have all these things in place as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. But you have to have that will to want to do it. And I think one of the reasons, because even though it kind of it didn't look good, she actually had interest from everybody besides maybe Mr. Wonderful. It seems like Mark went out because she didn't want to do the cafe. Robert was not going to give her a great offer. And then it came down to the two women, Barbara and Lori, and ultimately kind of Lori ended up going with Lori. But I think all of them were interested in her because she is a go-getter. She's a doer. She's somebody who's going to execute. You're talking about what? She only made really just under 700 grand in 2023. I would imagine in 2024 of the entire year, she probably made over 700 grand. So it wasn't like she was killing it with the numbers, but given her story, given the fact that at 41, she had a heart attack and kind of bounced back, and she's scrapper. In my opinion, I think she opened up the cafe just as a proof of concept because she's only selling her product, and that was able to get her in maybe some local stores. She's not in the Costco's and the Sam's Club and the big box retailers, which hopefully her partnership with Lori gets her in there. But again, I think the cafe was a proof of concept to get her into local grocery stores, which seems like she's been doing okay with. But again, I think ultimately everybody was interested in her outside of maybe Mr. Wonderful because of her story, because of her passion, because of her drive, because of her will to want to succeed. And I don't know, I think that underscores a great point just in entrepreneurship and business that, hey man, you only need one person to give you a chance, to give you an opportunity, or to believe in you. And a lot of times it can be, and it more or less maybe will be on the numbers and the business and things like that. It seemed like the product was good and kind of the numbers for the most part made sense. But a lot of times it's just, okay, on you. They're betting on you as a person that you're going to get the job done, that you're going to do whatever it takes to be successful. And I think that a lot of her interest in the Sharks with this one was the fact that she overcame so much and she's still chugging along and she's willing to do the cafes. And I think she talked about feeding, cast on kind of movie sets and then, was able to get into local grocery stores. And I think all that was because her will. So kudos to her. Let's kind of pull up the website here really quickly before we get out of there. Her mom just passed away, she said. So, man, she's kind of been through it here lately. There we go. So Jane Foodie, like I said, she has a trademark pending on Jane Foodie. I actually like to get a trademark on fresh food in a flash. And to the extent that she's watching this, Jane Foodie, I'll at least put the TM on there just to let people know that you're using it in a trademark sense or as a trademark. And to the extent that I didn't check out fresh food in a flash, but to the extent that let's see here, man, I can check that out in a second. Because I actually really like that fresh food in a flash. Fresh food in a flash. See, she had the snowflake there. So yeah, she doesn't have a trademark on fresh food in a flash or trademark pending. And if I was Jane, I'll actually get fresh food in a flash trademark as well, or at least file a trademark application on that. Like I said, no patents on this one, just the trademarks, and maybe even have some trade secrets on how she's kind of going about the product, which seems like it's a great product based on what the shark said. Chocolate chip cookies. What is this? Some honey biscuits. Seems like she has some pretty good food items on here. So shouts out to her. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We got a deal. We're 1 for 1 so far on this episode. I think what is episode 16. So 1 for 1. Please let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. To the extent that you've had, Jane's Food. I think the company was in New York. So I'm not sure. I would imagine that is some local grocery stores in New York. But to the extent that you had Jane's Food or fresh food, please let me know in the comment section. We're 1 for 1. Let's move on to the next one and see if that one is able to get a deal. Let's go.